Hey everybody, I want to talk about a subject I get asked about quite a bit about HOAs. Now, what kind of property types can have an HOA? And do you want to buy one? What are in a home or condo or whatever in an HOA? What are the pros and cons? First of all, there's different types of HOAs when it comes to single family homes. With older condos and townhomes, every once in a while you won't have an HOA. That's very, very rare. But typically, 99.9% of HOAs are going to be associated with a condo or townhome. So those are going to be very difficult to buy without an HOA if you're thinking you want a property that doesn't have one. Now, what does the HOA do? Does it protect you? Protect your property value? What is it just a pain to deal with? What's it like? Well, I can tell you, my first home I owned was in a country club, and it had a voluntary HOA. Well, with the voluntary HOA, just as it sounds, you're not required to pay dues. It's your choice. But there are usually deed restrictions, as I learned when I bought my first home. I wasn't in the business. I didn't have an agent. I bought it from a for sale by owner. I learned a lot of things. So that's why you want someone on your side to educate you on these things. But that HOA, when I went to sell my home, I was going to put the cheapest roof I could, but there was a deed restriction that was put in there by the HOA that it had to have a minimum 20-year roof. So that's what I put in there. And also that HOA didn't allow, told you had to keep your garage door closed at all times, except when you're going in and out or taking stuff out to mow. And you couldn't park pickup trucks specifically on the street. So there can be little nuisance things, but what it did and what it does, an HOA may give you some amenities. Like there weren't any amenities there when it was voluntary. I currently live in a neighborhood that has an HOA. Now, what it covers is maintenance of a green belt that happens to be near me, covers the walls outside, and that the HOA maintains it. They'll put up decorations at the holidays. Now, other HOAs, they say you live in an upscale neighborhood, there may be parks, ponds, playgrounds, jogging paths, clubhouses, pools. Those tend to be fairly expensive. Mine is fairly inexpensive. It's went up maybe $50 over the last 20 years I've lived where I currently do. So HOAs tend to increase. Single family homes, not as much. Every once in a while you may get hit with a special assessment, like we had a wall that had to be rebuilt. So every home in the neighborhood got hit with a special assessment. So the HOA covers things such as the walls outside the community. So everyone in the community will be assessed for things like that. But one of the big things the HOA does is to help keep your property value up by making sure that people keep their yards mowed. They don't go paint the house purple and pink. They might regulate the type of roof, like the example I gave you. You have to have certain type of shingles. May require you to have a specific kind of fence. Like there's some areas, some high-end properties not far from me, where you can't have wood fences, only wrought iron, so that you can see because it's kind of rural. Other things that may do, and this is single-family homes, condos, and townhomes. I know of some in the area where I'm at, where they put restrictions in on how many properties can be rental properties. So there may be a waiting list if you want to make your home a rental property. There's some that make you live in the home for the first year before it becomes a rental. So that right there protects the other neighbors in the neighborhood from the whole subdivision becoming just all rentals. So that's protection it gives you. It may prohibit short-term rentals like Airbnb. I know some of these things may be seen as a negative by an investor or you as a homeowner saying, hey, but it's my property, I want to do this. There's a lot of reasons they do it to help protect your value. If every home in the neighborhood becomes a rental, you may have issues with values. In general, rental homes are not kept as well as ones where the owners live in them. So that's the positive of the HOA. The negative is they may beat you up over your yard not being mowed. I've gotten notices like that. If your fence is falling down, you may get a notification. Another thing they do is, say, like I added a patio cover several years ago, I had to go to the architectural committee, submit plans and specs, and then of course had to get a permit. So those are some things to think about. HOAs have positives. The biggest thing is keeping your value up, keeping the neighborhood uniform. There's some neighborhoods near me where there aren't HOAs, and I can see the difference. Yards are grown up, fences are falling down, things such as that. So if I didn't answer all your questions about should I buy in an HOA or not, let me know. I hope you found this useful. Have a great day. Enjoy this nice fall weather. Talk to you next time.